It is Brent Webb, Mind Power Expert, and we are live coming to you from Cleveland today with a very important question. Are we living in the Matrix? You know, I did a radio interview yesterday and was one of the questions, and we had such a great conversation talking about it. I thought I'd do a quick jump on and do a video for you today about it, about what we talked about. The idea that we're in a simulation, this is the Matrix. I'll tell you what, when I explain this to you, I think you'll agree that we have the answer. Nobody else can tell you that, but I think you're going to learn that. Okay, you're going to learn that here today. We're going to go deep into the subject. We're going to talk about the mind. We're going to talk about why we're not happy, why we're all living this illusion. We're living our entire lives inside our minds, and we're seeing reality from that viewpoint. So we're never seeing truth. We're never seeing true reality because we have completely screwed up our minds. Every one of us since the beginning of time. That is what we've done. We've taken this personal mind and we have changed it into a mortal enemy. And it's something we can completely vanquish. We've got the power inside. You don't have to go meditate in a cave. You don't have to go to India. You don't have to buy a $10,000 course. Everything you need is inside you. So today we're going to answer the question, are we living in the Matrix? You're going to love this, I promise you. So sit back, relax, and get ready for Mind Power Secrets. All right, we're back and ready to go today. Again, we're live. If you're watching this with me live, make sure you put some questions, comments into the comment box, and I'll try to get to those as we go along. I have nothing to do today. It's a Saturday. I took a couple of months off. I had hernia surgery about 3-4 weeks ago. So now I've pretty much recouped, and I'm regretting this next month because I am usually so busy all over the world. So I'm kind of finding things to do at this month at home. So today we're going to go into it. We're going to be talking about it, but you got to remember this. No matter where you are watching this from today, 98% of us, 98% of humanity is programmed. And they are living their entire lives inside their minds. Now, whether you want to admit this truth or not, if you think about it, you know it's true. From the moment that we're born, we are programmed. We're programmed by our parents. We're programmed by our friends, by the teachers, media, the government. Society at large programs us. And not all in a evil, maniacal, mad scientist way. Just because they're programming us with their beliefs and what they learned from the generations before them. But what that does is it creates inside of us, it creates this this ego, psyche, and what that does when we're a child, it's fine. Maybe it's a survival mechanism, but as we grow into an adult, that old, rusty, out-of-date programming that's inside your mind is ruining your life. Because it's keeping you from happiness. All those old beliefs, all those old thought patterns, belief systems, they are completely ingrained into us. It's like they're in our DNA and they are destroying our lives. So you have to know our self-created mind, that's what it is. We create it, the things we like, the things we don't like. It's responsible for almost every problem that we have in life. It keeps us from true happiness. It keeps us from true freedom. And the most terrifying thing of all is 98% of the population never know it. They go from birth to death and they never realize there is anything else. I mean, we were born with the most amazing supercomputer ever invented. We just don't know how to work it. And when you go out and you buy a cell phone. Think about this. You go out and you buy a toaster. You go out and buy a microwave. You go out and buy any kind of electronic device. You're going to receive a manual that tells you how to use it. But we're given the most sophisticated supercomputer ever devised, and we just have to figure it out ourselves. It's like, I remember in school when a teacher told me, you need to focus. And after she told me that 5 or 6 times, I said, did I miss that? That day where we learned to focus, because I have no idea how to do it. And she admitted she didn't either. Nobody really does. Do you know how to really focus and what that can do in your life? I mean, it can literally change everything. We have so many thoughts and ideas and emotions going on inside us, 60,000 thoughts every single day. Think about that. So when you tell somebody to watch your thoughts, it seems impossible. I mean, how can you possibly watch 60,000 thoughts a day? Well, it's not the normal run of the mill thoughts we're worried about. It's the thoughts you've attached to emotion. It's those powerful thoughts, those thoughts that are manifesting the good and the bad things in your life. So today, we're going to talk about how that defines the idea that we're inside the matrix. All right, we're going to talk about it. We're going to get to it, I promise you. And when I answer the question, you're going to understand it maybe for the first time. Are we living in the matrix, in a simulation? Is this an illusion? Is this really reality? We're going to take a deep dive into it. But the first thing I always explain to people is you have to understand, first of all, you've got to start becoming aware of what's going on inside your mind. Because each and every day as you're going through life, there's a voice talking inside your head, right? I call this the bitchy roommate. That's what this is. It's that nonstop voice that narrates your life. It tells you that you're not good enough. It tells you all the bad things that you did. It tells you about all the horrible things that are going to happen in the future. And that voice scares the crap out of most people. They believe that that voice is them. They believe that that's the voice of God. That's the voice of the future. That voice ruins so many lives. That voice, the bitchy roommate, the one, if that was a real person in there, if you had a real person living in your house that gave you the kind of advice, that said the things about you that that voice says, you would throw them out immediately. But you don't. You let this voice control you. You let it control you. It tells you how you feel. It tells you what you like. It tells you what you don't like. This voice is controlling your life. And it starts out when we're children. Think about this, because again, you can't deny the fact that when we're all children, we're blank slates. And if you can think back to your childhood, you'll remember whenever you were a kid, you were outside, you were playing, you could be anything you wanted to be. Whenever you were sad, you cried. And when you were happy, you laughed. You played, you enjoyed. When you were mad, you got angry and it passed. But then you start to get programmed. We start to get brainwashed by the people around us with their ideas. And boys should be like this, girls should be like that. Our family can't have this. People like us can't do that. All of that programming, you're not good enough, whatever it is that comes from everything around you during those first 8 years, that's what's controlling your life today. Whatever that manipulation was in your mind back then, whatever you built into your personal mind, into your psyche, that is what is running today. Anytime you're on autopilot. And for most of us, that's about 75% of the day. Think about that. 75, 80% of the day, we are completely oblivious to what's going on in our mind. We're on autopilot. Now, think about this. You're driving down the road. You're going somewhere. Now, you're not having to think, I have to turn left in a half a mile, and then I'm going to go down a quarter of a mile. I'm going to turn right on Elm Street. You don't have to do that. You get there because subconsciously it's in your mind. It's working in the background, right? So you're completely thinking about something else. You're getting to where you need to go, but you're using that time to create hell inside your mind. You're arguing with your spouse. You're still upset about what she said last night. So inside your mind, you're having a big argument. You're telling her all the things you're going to say to her, and then you're also doing her part, and she's yelling back at you. You are having a completely fictitious argument inside your mind. We do this all the time. Somebody's driving in front of you they're driving too slow. They're doing something you don't like. You're back there having an argument with that driver inside your head. And you're letting that affect you. That's what we do. So the first thing that you have to understand, the first thing, I call them the ABCs of mind power. The first thing that you have to understand is to become aware of what is going on in your mind. I am giving you teachings today that you are not going to learn anywhere else, especially not just giving it away. Everybody's trying to sell you something, and I resent it. I think all these millionaire coaches that are getting into one program after the other, it is very, very simple. You have completely cluttered up the inside of your mind. You have put all these emotions and thoughts inside you. Every time anything comes up that makes you think of that or triggers it in reality, it fires back up. It's because of what we've done to ourselves. So awareness is absolutely critical. It is game critical for figuring out what's going on. So that is the first thing you have to do, is find out what the voice inside your head is saying. And if you don't think there's a voice inside your head, I want you to say the word hello inside your mind. Just do it right now. Okay, that voice, that's the voice inside your head. And people, again, they think that voice is them. But I always tell people there are two voices that are inside your mind. There's the voice you can control, like when you're trying to think of something, when you're trying to calculate something, when you're doing something, that voice that you make talk. But then there's the voice that just starts talking. There's the voice where you're sitting quietly on the sofa watching television, and all of a sudden your mind says, hey, that person looks just like Uncle Joe. Oh, I hated him. He was so horrible to me. That voice starts talking. Or you're driving down the road and that voice says, oh, look at that dog. It's just like the dog I had when I was 9 years old. It's narrating your life. Most of the time, it's not like that. It's not like the dog and how cute that is. It's negative. Almost all the time. It's completely negative inside your mind, in the background. So no matter what you're trying to do with positive thinking or anything else, you're just putting a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound, because you can't get in there without getting into the subconscious, without getting over the personal mind, over the psyche, over the ego that you have built, which is all just BS. I mean, it's complete BS. Because it was created when we were children. We were not logical. We weren't mature. We were 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years of age. In that span, that's when our mind is recording everything. All right? Everything that we see, everything that we do, everything that we hear, everything that we like, everything that we dislike, everything that scares us, everything that makes us smile, all of that goes into that recording inside of our mind. And then one day, about 8.5, the tape stops recording. And now, and for you young people, if you don't know what a tape is, just think of like, an online recording, a digital recording kind of thing, because I know I date myself. But yeah, the tape stops, the digital recording stops, and now you can't fit anything else on it. So for the rest of your life, that is the tape that you're going to use. That's the tape that's going to run in your mind. That's the tape that's going to dictate how you live. So any changes you want to make, you can't really do until you get into the programming. You've got this computer, like this amazing supercomputer, and it has the operating system on it, but you have no idea how it works, right? And all it has when you start is just the basic system. Then you start adding all this crap in there. You start burying yourself, and awareness will get you out of it. So how do you become aware? How do you become aware of what the voice is saying inside your mind? Here's what I tell everyone. This is one of my favorite mind hacks, all right, I'm giving you today. And you just go and you get some Post-it notes, okay? You get a stack of Post-it notes, you get a marker, and you're going to make a happy face. You're going to draw a heart. You're going to do 4 or 5 drawings on these Post-it notes, and then you're going to place them all over the place, all over the house. You're going to place one in the car, maybe one at work, wherever you're going to be during the day. All right. And then for a week, you get a steno, little notepad, one of those spiral notepads, and a pen. You keep it with you in your pocket or your purse, whatever. And this is your complete work. All you have to do, and this will get you 70% of the way towards awakening, towards understanding that there's so much more out there, to completely transforming your life. All you have to do is every time you see one of those Post-it notes for that week, you stop that second and you think, what's on my mind? And you write it down. That's how you're going to catch it. You're going to start catching what the mind is saying, because you're involved in other things. You're doing other things. You're down here, right? This mind is running in the background. What's it saying? What's it programming into you? What belief systems is it making concrete? Is it making real for you? So as soon as you see the Post-it note, you stop, you take out the pad, you write down what is on your mind at that second. Then at the end of a week, when you take that pad out and you read all of that crap, it's going to blow your mind. It's going to blow your mind because it's no longer relevant. It has no bearing on your life now. It was made when you weren't mature, and it makes no sense, most of it. And like anything, when you drag it into the light, it disappears. So awareness is absolutely mission critical. It is crucial. It is the number one thing that you have to do. Because until you become aware of what is going on inside your mind, you're never going to change it. You're going to literally go through your entire life like you're in a tunnel and never know there is anything more. You're not supposed to struggle. You're not supposed to be fighting. You're not supposed to be rowing against the river. You're supposed to jump in and let the current take you, but that's not what we do. And again, today we're going into this question, and promise you we are getting there. It's, are we living in the matrix? And I know you'll agree. When I get here, you'll understand completely how I made it there, and you'll agree with me. The answer will shock you. Are we living in the matrix? So what do you do after awareness? So you spent your week doing that. You've wrote down all of the things that your mind is saying. That negative mind, you're going to see, it just makes no sense. It's no longer relevant. And when you do that, everything that I teach people to do is for a very specific reason. Because every one of these mind hacks, every one of these systems teach you to start gaining space between your mind and what's happening in your life. Somebody's about to argue with you and pull you into a fight. You need space there that right now you don't have. Everything that I do teaches, not even, you don't have to learn it. By doing these things, it happens almost by osmosis. You don't have to think of A, B, and C, the steps you need to do. You'll just be able to do them. You will start to get space. You will start to get space when something happens. So what's the B out of the ABCs of mind power? The B is, of course, belief. And belief is also important. And that can be created after you start becoming aware of what the mind is saying, because you are completely controlled by your belief system. And it was created when you were a child. It was created when you weren't logical. So any changes you're making today are never going to work because you've got old rusty programming inside you. And if you don't believe in yourself, no one is ever going to believe in you. It's like when you see somebody walk into a room, you're magnetized by them, you're drawn to them. We see these very successful people. And they don't have to be, it doesn't have to be the way you look. It has to be the way you carry yourself, the way you believe in yourself. It's magnetizing. It attracts people because everybody wants to be okay with themselves, and hardly anyone is. So when they meet someone who is, it's rare. It's a shocking thing. It's also something everyone wants. Belief is important. You have to have an insane amount of belief. You have to believe in yourself more than anyone has ever believed in anything. And it doesn't matter if it's crazy, if it's something that you really want, if you can see it in your mind, if you can feel the desire for it, you can attain that thing. But you have to not let anyone else knock you off the course. And the problem is, it's the people close to us normally. It's our friends, it's our relatives, it's the people that we would never think are going to try to knock us off course that do. Because you have to be honest, the people around us usually don't want us to succeed. For one thing, it leaves them behind. For another, it makes them know it was possible. And most people, they don't want proof that their dreams were possible, because then it makes them feel bad, right? So you have to be careful of the people closest to you. Very often, they're going to be the least support. And that's just the way it is. You have to believe in yourself. You have to create an all-inspiring amount of belief inside yourself for what you want. You have to really believe it. You have to believe that you can have it. You have to believe that you deserve it. You have to believe that it can be yours, because it can. But belief is important. And finally, what is the C? The C is connection. And connection. And there are a couple of ways you could take this. There's the connection, the idea that we're all connected to each other, because we are. Each and every one of us. This idea that we're separate is such BS. It's always been man versus woman, black versus white, gay versus straight. It's all just BS, because actually we're all connected. We're all one. This universal consciousness that we're all connected to. When you are aware of that and connected to that, you're changing your life. You're completely connected to the soul version of you. But in order to do that, you have to connect with yourself. So in this scenario, connection, for what I'm talking about here, is the connection you have with yourself. Because today, the world is so fast-paced. I mean, we have a 7-second attention span. It's crazy. In the late 80s, it was 7 minutes. Now it's 7 seconds. Nobody can stand a quiet moment. And that's what you need to connect with yourself. In order to make a connection with the soul you, in order to make a connection to your inner power, in order to make that connection with universal consciousness, where all the answers are, you have to connect to yourself. You have to have moments where you sit silently and meditate or chant or pray or do something where you're connecting to yourself. Because over time, over thousands of years, look what's happened. Back in the day, we didn't have a lot to do, right? We were living in a cave. We went out and we killed an animal when we were hungry. We procreated. It got dark. We went to sleep, right? And then more and more and more things. The amazing human mind started inventing more and more and more and expanding the world. And it became what it is today, this gigantic stress-filled extravaganza. And we're living in fight or flight mode. Back in the day, when you walked out and there was maybe a tiger there, your body went into fight or flight. You had to decide, am I going to run? Am I going to fight this thing? And all the blood moves to the parts of your body where it's needed. And all of these things happen automatically. But over the thousands of years, we have now started living in fight or flight all the time. Everyday life for us is fight or flight. All of those things inside of us are activated. Everything is running exactly as it would if we were literally in a life or death situation. We're not supposed to live that way. That's why heart disease, that's why stress-related death, all of that is skyrocketing. And dis-ease, not at ease. We make ourselves so stressed out, so worried. And you have to connect to yourself. You have to. The way I tell people all the time is meditation. It's the best thing you can do, to sit silently for a few minutes every day. I do it 40 minutes twice a day. No matter where I am in the world, no matter what I'm doing on my schedule, I find time. Because over time, that ability, that is how you start to learn how to focus. Because if you sit in meditation, and I'll tell you what, I'll give you my meditation practice, what I teach everyone at my seminars and classes, I will give you right now. It is super easy. All you've got to do is sit. You can use a chair, sit cross-legged on the floor, whatever you like to do. You're not going to move. Hands on your knees. You're going to take a couple of breaths in and out. You're then going to close your eyes, and you're just going to start counting silently in your head to 20. 1 to 20. When you get to 20, you go back to 1. If you get to 47, you've gone too far, you go back to 1. What that is doing, you think this dumb exercise, what could this possibly be doing? What it's doing is it's strengthening your ability to focus. It's strengthening the thing that will transform your life, the ability to start taking control of your mind. Every time you pull your focus back, every time you're counting and then all of a sudden you're thinking about lunch and you go back to the counting, you strengthen your focus. And over time, it is like any muscle, it's going to become super powerful. And that's exactly what happens. You keep pulling back your focus. Now, in my career, I've worked with a lot of celebrities, professional athletes. They bring me in for sports teams, along with sports psychologists who teach athletes how to do the game in their mind, to rehearse it inside their head, for the runners to actually run the race inside their mind. But I'll tell you something that they know, athletes know, that you take the energy you get back, the willpower that comes back from the focus, and you then focus it where it matters. So you take it from something, it releases, you bring it back, and you focus it where it matters. Well, what does that mean? It means when you're sitting in meditation and you're counting silently to yourself, things are going to start popping up. Thoughts are going to start popping up. Feelings are going to start popping up because they're trying to get out of you. They're trying to pass through. Those are energy, like anything else that passes through. But for some reason, you've held things inside. We all have. And the scary thing is we do it with things we like. We do it with things we don't like. And so the first time you ever kiss someone, you take that memory and you store it inside. Oh, it sounds completely like, wow, that couldn't possibly cause a problem, right? We've done that with thousands and thousands and thousands of things. And very few of them are the kiss or the first car or the sunset. Most of them are embarrassing things, negative things, breakups, trauma. That is what we're storing. And those things are trying to pass through us. So during meditation, when you're sitting there and you're counting, thoughts will pop up. Where did that thought come from? That's a red flag. That's a gift. That means it's something you need to look at. That's how you start clearing out your mind. And when these things leave, little things will leave first. You'll find yourself emotional during meditation. You'll find yourself crying. I have many times. You won't even know why. And that's a blessing. That means something has passed through. You didn't even have to realize what it was. That's how incredible it is. It starts clearing out this old, rusty, out-of-date crap that you've stored inside you. And you've done that with willpower. You've taken the life force energy that you have. You've taken the willpower that you have. And you've started using it to hold this crap inside you. And everything you do that with takes a little bit of willpower. So when something releases, that willpower comes back. That willpower comes home. And the successful person, they then take it and focus it where it matters. And that's what I'm talking about with an athlete. They are very good at this. When something releases, the energy comes back. You focus it where it matters. You do that long enough, everything starts to change. We have secured inside us, like an episode of Hoarders, hundreds and thousands of things that we hate, we like, we don't like, we hope doesn't happen. All of this crap. And it's literally blocking our energy. It's blocking our frequency. It's blocking us from living the life that we want to live. So you have to have some sort of meditation practice. It's vital. You have to have some practice where you're going to sit silently with yourself and connect. All right. So if you can do those three things, you can start becoming aware of the voice. What is the voice saying inside your mind? Use the Post-it notes. Write down on the pad, whatever the mind says when you see the Post-it note. Do that for a week. Then take inventory of the crap that your mind is saying. It'll blow you away. Next, belief. You've got to believe in yourself first before anyone else does. If it's what you want, if you believe it, you've got to start feeling it. You have to believe that you can have the things you want. You have to believe that you deserve them, that they are for people like you. It can be a crazy belief. It can be just an out of this world belief, but you have to make yourself start to believe it. And then finally, connection. Meditation is crucial. Chanting, contemplation, something where you're sitting silently and allowing yourself to connect to the inner you, to the power that you have inside. All right. So where does that all get us? How does that tell us if we are living in the matrix? Now, we all know what that is. Right? Is it a simulation? Are we living in an illusion? Is this just a big program that we're all living in? And I did a radio show yesterday and got this question, and I loved it. And we went deep on it. So I want to share it with you. Are we living in the matrix? I'll tell you what, for all intents and purposes. Now, the big question, the idea, are we inside of a computer program from an alien or from a race different than ours or whatever this is. All right. But for all intents and purposes, you are living in a simulation. You are living in the matrix. And I'll tell you why. And it's absolutely true. You cannot argue with this. You will not be able to argue with this. So listen carefully. All right. Now I explained to you, when you're born, you start to get programmed. You get programmed by the people all around you. You get programmed by the parents, the siblings, the teachers, everything. All right. That programming builds our psyche. That programming starts to build the person that we become. We build that inside of ourselves. We build things to protect ourselves. We build things to make ourselves feel better. We do all of that when we're immature and we are not children. All right. And because, like I told you, we store things inside us. We store things we like and we store things that we don't like, which is crazy, because if you think about this, right? If there's something that you like, that makes more sense, right? Okay, I'm going to try to keep that feeling. I'm going to try to keep that memory inside me. But why in the universe would you keep something that you don't like, right? It's like, you have a bunch of rotting garbage and you want to keep it so you can remember how bad it smells. All right. So you don't have to smell it again or whatever the weird reason is, but you're storing that stuff inside you. That's what we do. When something, we can't get past it, when something bothers us, when something triggers us, we take the thought and the emotion, they're attached to each other. So for instance, imagine you break up with someone, you break up with your girlfriend. She drives a red Ford pickup truck. Now you're driving down the highway. Every Ford red pickup truck you see is going to make you feel uneasy in your stomach. All those emotions are going to rush back. All those feelings, all those thoughts are going to come racing back. You know why? Because they're trying to get out. Everything is transient. We're all energy. You and me and the universe and the table and the computer and everything around us. It's vibrating waves of energy. Nothing is really solid. If you were to look down at it, as much as you could go, you would see it is not solid. This idea that everything is solid is just bull crap. We are frequencies of energy, vibrating patterns of energy. So you have to remember, because we are energy, everything in the universe is energy. Thoughts are energy. Feelings are energy. They are meant to go through. But for some reason, you didn't like it and you wouldn't let it go through. So you pushed it down inside. You held it inside with willpower. And now every time anything reminds you of that, it flares back up again. It comes rushing back into your system. It does the same thing to your body it did the first time. All the same endorphins fire, all the same neurons fire. It's exactly the same. In fact, your body doesn't know the difference between it actually happening and you're just thinking about it. And that's why I mentioned sports psychologists. That's what they do. They teach athletes to run the race, to box the match, to play the game inside their mind over and over and over again and see themselves scoring and see themselves winning. Because it makes a difference. Your body can't tell the difference. It doesn't know if it's actually doing it or you're just thinking about it. So if you can start controlling that inside your mind, it starts to change everything. All right. It allows you to get in there. It allows you to figure out what's going on inside the mind. So you've got all your preferences in there, all the things you like, all the things you don't like. Think about it. Maybe you're afraid of spiders. Now you've stored that inside. Not just spiders. Nobody can talk about spiders. Nobody can scare you with a spider. You're never going to go watch a movie, a scary movie about spiders, arachnophobia or something. Spiders become a very big thing in your life. When you see one, you get frozen. You can't kill it. You have to call somebody in. You're completely controlled by spiders, and that's just one thing. You do it with everything. Everything you like, everything you don't like. Everything that bothers you, you store inside. And every time anything gets close, when people say, don't go there with me, that means you're getting close to something. You're getting close. That's a gift. That's another red flag. That's showing the person what it is they need to work on. But that's not what people do. The feeling comes up, you push it back down. We can't talk about that with your father, right? Push it back down. That's what we do. So you have literally thousands and thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of things inside you like that. Your likes and your dislikes, your preferences, and your past. Because you have to remember, no two people in the history of the universe have ever or will ever be equal, will ever have the same experiences. All right? We are each experiencing our part of this universe while we're here. You would have to agree right now there are zillions and zillions and zillions of moments. But the only moment that you're experiencing is the one here, right in front of you. If you turn to the left, if you turn to the right, those are different moments. If you look up or down, they're different moments. But you are experiencing this slice of the universe in this moment, just you. I mean, it's a movie made only for you. You're the only one that ever sees it, that ever will see it. But that means everybody else is in their own movie too. Everyone else, with all their stored crap, with all their past fears, with all the things that they liked and disliked, they have those things stored inside too. So how does that get us into the matrix? Here's how it gets us into the matrix. None of us, until you awaken, not one person is ever experiencing reality. Not true reality. You might as well be in a simulation. In fact, you are. You are in a simulation. Because three of us could be walking down the street and all three of us looking at what's ahead of us are seeing different things. If somebody walking towards us looks like the uncle that used to slap us around when we were a teenager, I could get upset. My stomach could get upset. I could start getting all those feelings. The other two are doing fine. If she sees a dog that looks like the dog she had when she was a kid that was hit by a car, she can get emotional and start crying. The other person, you get what I'm saying? You're seeing reality through the lens of your past. Everything you've ever been through is creating. It's like I did another interview, a podcast the other day, and I love what the host said. She said it's like you've been driving a car your entire life and you've never washed it. So in other words, you're driving down the road and no matter what's happening, wind and dust and rain, it's accumulating on the windshield. And over time, you're not seeing reality. You're seeing reality through the lens. You're seeing it through that dirty windshield, all those layers of muck and dirt and dust. You're seeing a version of reality, but you're not seeing reality. So each one of us is doing that each and every day. Think about it. Just think about it, because you know it's true. We have all of this stuff inside of us, all the things that we like, all the things that we don't like, all the things that we want that we don't want. And we're trying to make everything happen that way to make us happy. That's what we think's going to do it. So in order to do that, you've got to twist the universe around. You have to try to twist people and places and things, because there's a very, very small way that you're going to be happy. And it has to be that way exactly, right? How is that going to happen? That's what you do every day. You try to be okay by making the world fit into this very small, this very small area that's going to make you happy. In other words, I'm going to get what I want and I'm going to not get what I don't want. That's what we do each and every day. And because of that, you're never seeing reality. You're looking at reality through the lens of your past. And that's really what the voice, the bitchy roommate inside your head, that's what that is. It's just the voice of the conditioned past. It's trying to help you. It's trying to save you. It's trying to protect you, that voice. But it's not doing that anymore. We have gotten so off the rails that what it's doing is destroying our lives, because it's keeping us from ever being able to be happy, because we believe that what it's saying is true, and we let it dictate our feelings. We let it dictate our thoughts. The voice inside your head is not you. It's just the conditioned past. It's like I said, you've got this supercomputer and the operating system. We all get one. And it's just got the operating system on it when we're born. We start putting the programs on. Each and every one of us individually starts building all the programs inside of our psyche, all the things we like and that we don't like. So then when we reach our, 10 years old, we start seeing the world through that program that we have built inside our mind, which is all just BS. It's all self-created, because the only thing, and you have to not be able to argue with this either. The only thing that you're ever going to be able to do is if you have a computer and you're inputting your information, every decision that you make can only be made from whatever is in the memory, whatever you've been through, whatever has ever happened to you. You can't be outside of that. So every one of us is making decisions with the very, 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 very limited information that we have. We are seeing a fraction of the universe, each one of us seeing just this tiny sliver of the universe. And with that, which is statistically, it's nothing. We make every decision from that, from whatever has happened to us in the past. So when you are going through life each and every day, you are seeing reality through the lens of the past. You're never seeing truth, never, until you start to awaken to the fact that there's so much more. That there is so much more than you ever thought was possible. And we are immense, powerful beings. We are here to learn. It's like Earth is school, right? We're all down here trying to live this life. It's not about money. It's not about gay versus straight, black versus white, all this earthly crap that's created to try to keep certain people in line and try to create, discrepancies so that this ruling class can rule and everyone else. It's BS. It is all created in this outer world that we think is so great. We think that the outer world is our primary reality, when in truth, it's our inner world, because we are literally in two worlds at the same time. Each and every day, when you're sitting here, whenever you're looking at the screen, you're in two worlds, because you're in your inner world, which is your mind, your thoughts, your ideas, your emotions. And then you're in the outer world. You're in everything that's happening out here, which is, people, places, things. All right. Everyone thinks the outer world is the world that matters. When I get this, I'll be happy. When I get the big house, I'll be happy. When I get the sports car, the flatter butt, this guy, this girl, whatever, I'll be happy. And you know that's not true, because as soon as you get the thing that you want, the next thing comes along. How long do you stay deliriously happy? A week? A month? What? The next thing will come along when you live like that. That puts happiness ahead of you, always. So it's eluding you in life because you're on a hamster wheel where happiness is running ahead of you and you are chasing it. That's what each and every one of us does. Happiness is never where we are. We think the outer world is so important, but think about it. Everything that matters is an inner thing. Love, confidence, courage. Those are all inner things. You can't go out and buy them. You can't go out and, rent them. You can't go in the outer world and find them at all, because they're inner things. And most successful people understand that's why you work on the inner first. You change yourself. You don't try to change other people. You change yourself. Then the people around you are inspired. They start to change by osmosis. More and more people change. That's how we can change things. By working on ourselves, not trying to work on everyone else. That's how wars start. Whenever people are trying to force their will on others, instead of looking inward and connecting to your inner power. You are immensely powerful. You're not a human being with a soul. You are a soul in this human body. So you have tremendous power. You just don't realize it because you are down here in the mud, right? You've got this amazing supercomputer, and what are you using it for? To worry about whether Mary likes your dress, whether, you're going to get that vacation that you want. So we are never allowing happiness to be where we are. It's always ahead of us. Right? If you're making a cup of coffee, you want to drink the coffee. You don't want this moment. If it's Wednesday and you're going out Friday night, you want Friday to be here. You don't want to be here. We always do that. We always look to these illusionary things, right? If 80% of the time we are living in the past or the future, okay? So 40% of the time we're in the past. We're worried about all the things we could have done, we should have done. If I had done that, this wouldn't have happened. And then another 40% of the time we're in the future, worried about all the things we think are going to happen, right? Guess what? There is no past and no future, because when they happen, what moment is it? It's the present moment. When the past was happening, it was happening in this moment. When the future gets here, it will be in this moment. Those are just abstract ideas at this point. So spending any time on either of them, the easiest thing you can release in your life is your past, because it can't ever do anything. It can't ever be changed. You can learn from it, but you shouldn't have to relive it. And that's what we do. We never let ourselves off the hook. We punish ourselves over and over and over again. You go out and rob a bank, you can be out of jail, out of prison in 10 years, 5 years? I don't know. But you do something to yourself and you never let yourself off the hook. You never parole yourself. You will be on yourself for the rest of your life if you allow it. That's what we do. We let the mind take over. We think it's like a crazy monkey up there in a cage. We let it take over, and it's just not true. It's not true. You're in control of this thing. You have built this crazy out of control monkey, but you can stand up and finally start taking control. Too often we lay down to it. We bow down to it. We let it control us. And it's completely unnecessary. When you take control of your mind for the first time, you see a world that you never knew existed. And again, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to go anywhere, buy anything, do anything, except give yourself some time each and every day to connect to yourself. Don't tell me you don't have the time. We all have a lot going on. But you have to make time. Get up a little earlier, stay up a little later, whatever you have to do. Because over time, meditation, any kind of practice you're doing like that will transform things without you doing anything. You don't have to go to a therapist and relive your problems. Things will release themselves from you just in silence, and many times you will not even know what they are. Your mind is so incredible, it will create images and pictures. It will sneak them by you. It's like in a dream. Our mind does that all the time while we're dreaming. Our mind is so incredible, and it is trying to help us. It's this personal mind that's trying to defeat us, and it's only doing that because we've created it. But our subconscious mind is always trying to release that energy, that it's trapped, those negative emotions. So sometimes during sleep, it will create dreams that symbolize Whatever it is, it's trying to release to get them by you. Because many times people will wake up. If it's something horrible, they will remember it. They will fight it. So say your parents died in a car accident. And now all of a sudden you're dreaming about two eagles that are free and they're flying around. You're crying in your sleep because that is the stuff about the car accident, the stuff about the parents. It's your mind has created images that link to that, but they get by you because you have no idea what it means. That happens all the time if you'd let it. Your mind is the most powerful. It's the most powerful source in the universe. We're all created from this consciousness, and we're all connected to it. We have a universal consciousness where everyone is connected, and then we have our individual consciousness. That is where most people live. They live in their own mind. They don't live with the connection, the thoughts, the answers, the knowledge, the wisdom from the universal consciousness. They're connected only to their very small, limited consciousness. Again, and it is made up of all the programming you put into yourself, into your ego, into your psyche. So, we're not seeing reality. We might as well be living in a simulation. It is just like the Matrix because every person is not seeing truth. You're not seeing true reality. You are seeing reality through the lens of your past. And until you get rid of that old rusty junk, you are never going to be able to live the life that you want to live. It doesn't matter how old you are, doesn't matter where you are, doesn't matter how much money you make, it doesn't matter anything. Because this is your God-given birthright. This is your power. And too often, all the time, we've given it away. We've given it to other people. Now, I want to remind you, I'm going to be back this coming Wednesday. We're going to do another live event. This one is how to be happy and why you aren't already. This is a great topic. We're going to go deep into that as well because happiness is really what we want, right? You want to be happy. If you really thought about it, if I said, I will give you what you want, name the 5 things you want in life right now, what would you say? What would you ask for? If somebody could guarantee you're going to get those 5 things, okay, what would you say? I want $1 billion. Okay, boom, I'm going to give you $1 billion. But I'm going to drop you on a desert island with no people, with nothing. I'm going to drop that $1 billion in cash and you can have it. Now, of course, there's nothing to buy and there's no one to see, but do you still want it? And you're going to say no, right? Because you don't want that. You want what you thought that was going to give you, the feeling it was going to give you. In other words, you wanted to be happy. You want to be okay in there. You want to feel okay within yourself. That's what you think the big house is going to do. That's what you think the perfect woman is going to do. That's what you think all of those things are going to do. But none of them do. Happiness is an inner game like everything else. Happiness is the biggest inner game. The trick is you make yourself happy first. Everything else then falls into place. How do you do that? We're going to talk about it. How to be happy. It is this coming Wednesday, July 31st, 7 p.m. And to get there, you just go to my Facebook, not the Facebook group. You're going to go to the Facebook page, which is facebook.com/mindpowerplan. Almost 30,000 people changing their lives, motivated, inspiring each other's. The stories in there are incredible, but you're going to see this methodology in action. You're going to see people doing it. You're going to be inspired. You're going to do it yourself. It's an incredible thing. It's free. There's nothing to buy. I have made this my mission. My mission during the last few years is to get this information. I've taught millionaires, billionaires, celebrities, athletes, all kinds of people. But it's really the masses that need this. It's people that are suffering in their everyday life and never realizing that there's more. So I'm trying to get this knowledge into the hands of everyone. So make sure you're there. Make sure you tell your friends, tell your family. It's facebook.com/mindpowerplan. That's for how to be happy. Wednesday, July 31st, 7 p.m. Now, when we were talking earlier about the ABCs of mind power, we got into the C, which is connection. I want to give you a free gift. Just released. It's my meditation mini course. What you're going to get there, this meditation journal is incredible. You can track your daily progress, your growth for inspiration, but it is full of prompts and questions and how to meditate, mantras. It's unbelievable. It's free. You're going to get 2 of my guided video meditations. You're going to get my new book, 5 Ninja Skills that help you meditate. And my little book on self-mastery, keep on your cell phone, you'll love it. Everything you see here on this picture, absolutely free. Right now, just go to meditationminicourse.com. That's meditationminicourse.com. This is for a very limited time. So if you'd like one, you'd like to learn how to meditate, if you've never meditated before, it will take you from wherever you are to where you want to be. You'll become an expert, a meditator. All right. And once you're there, you'll get some information on my new Mindful Meditation Secrets. It's the entire course. But again, you don't have to buy this. The first thing is absolutely free. I want you to have this. I want you to start. I want you to sit in silence, connect with your inner self, and you will transform your life. I don't know what, and people don't get it. It's not as hard as everyone makes it. You can completely transform the way you live by understanding the ABCs of mind power. 3 things. You don't have to watch the 60,000 thoughts that are going on inside your mind every day. What you got to do is pay attention to the ones you've connected to emotion, the ones you've stored inside. And to do that, meditation is going to take you there. So go to meditationminicourse.com and get your free meditation journal, guided meditations, and ebooks right now. All right. Now, again, I'll be back on the 31st, but if you have not joined my Facebook community, now this is different. It's my private Facebook community. We go deeper in there because it's not open to the public. It is free, but we don't allow just anyone in there. It's got to be someone with a real desire to change, a real desire to put aside what it is they've believed for so long and allow themselves just to have a little bit of an open mind. Can completely transform your life. Millionaires have been made there. This is an incredible group, and I think you'll enjoy it. If you'd like to get an invite and you'd like to come take a look at it, go to brentsgroup.com. No apostrophe. It's brentsgroup.com. And it is a revolution. It's a mind power revolution. Because for too long, we have been on the sidelines. For too long, we have allowed other people, other things, whatever, to completely sway us, change our minds, change our beliefs, make us feel a certain way. Some people are even living other people's idea of their life. Your father, your mother wanted you to be have a certain career path. You're doing that. And you find out when you're 50 that you don't even want to do that. That's why people have midlife crises, right? They're halfway through and they realize they haven't done anything they've ever wanted to do because they're living for somebody else. brentsgroup.com. Get your free invite. Come and join us. We would love to have you. Again, nothing to buy there. I'm doing this for you. I'm telling you, this is the teaching. These are the things. I've been all over the world for 30 years. 30 years. And in that time, I have worked with millionaires, billionaires, celebrities. I say it all the time, but it's so you understand. Those people understand mind power. Those people are doing with their minds the things that make them successful. They are focusing their willpower where it matters. They are not allowing these everyday struggles that everyone else goes through to bog them down. And of course, those people have nannies, they have business managers, they have assistants, they have accountants, they have all sorts of people to help them in their everyday lives. The normal everyday John Q. public doesn't. It's the masses that need this information. And that's why I'm releasing it. It is here. It is free. It is for you to take control of your life. So, brentsgroup.com. I'll be back again on Wednesday. Tell your friends, tell your family. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, give me a thumbs up, however you do it. Share this video with someone who can definitely use it because we can change the world. We do that by changing ourselves first. Then everybody starts to change around us because they're inspired. And then we can literally change the world. That's how it happens. And we make it so hard. It's not that hard. Go out and enjoy yourself. And remember, don't worry, be happy and feel good. See you soon.